you don't just become a killer one day,
Right.
unless you kill somebody while you're doing self-defense.
Right.
And that's happened. That's happened in January, in front of right by Macy's, by Union Square.
Wow.
So
really?
there were three thugs. They come at him with a gun, and he was able to reach for the gun and turn it back on him and fired at him, and then he died.
And that's self-defense.
And that's self-defense.
I love that.
So, and self-defense is completely legal.
Oh, yes.
There will be no jury that will convict you unless
Yeah.
the jury is psychopaths. So,
Exactly correct.
you know, when the courts pick these jury members,
Yeah.
they should not be psychopaths. They should be like regular people.
You would hope so.
Who are somewhat
I was picked as a
educated.
jury.
So,
I'm good.
so yeah, any respectable person would
Right.
not convict somebody who
No, and that's exactly
in
right.
self-defense.
And that's what I try to tell people, that, you know, if it ever gets to a point where you had to do what you had to do and that person dies or whatever, you're well within your rights. Because
Absolutely.
the moment that you felt threatened in any way, is one of the things that I always tell people, that the moment you see this motion and you punch the guy right in the throat, you're
Right.
well within your rights. Why? Because I don't know who this guy is. He came that close to me. He had that menacing look. I was fearful for my life, and I went wham,
Yeah.
and whatever happens, happens. You know, and that's self-defense.
Yeah.
Because, especially being a woman, if somebody does that to you and you, you know, do whatever you want to do,
Yeah.
that's well within your rights.
Absolutely.
You
yeah.
have to be able to defend yourself.
Yeah.
So now we identified it. We know that it's a hate crime essentially.
Right. So the thing is, we have to identify the problem, right, and the perpetrators, and we need to not coddle the criminals. This is why I have a problem with San Francisco. Our elected officials are coddling the criminals, and it just kills me. Like, how can you be coddling the criminal when there are some real victims, people who died? Think of their
Right.
families and what they have to go through. And if you think that you giving them money is going to resolve their pain, it will not. You know. So, what do the families want? The families want justice.
Right.
They want the people who kill their
Somebody to go to jail and
right,
and
kill
pay
their
them.
relatives to go to jail and serve 25 to life. That will give them some time to rehab, to learn, you know,
Right.
how to be a
Yeah. And
decent
no plea
person.
bargaining.
Yeah.
That is such crap.
No more plea bargaining. It's just ridiculous. Like, oh yeah, we'll just have him plead guilty to a lesser crime so we can let him go and roam around and kill other people. No, that's not right.
No.
So in my rallies, you know, we are very specific about what we want.
Right.
We're not just going, you know, oh, stop Asian hate and, you know, this and that, but, you know, unity, and that's all good. That's all good. I believe in that wholeheartedly. But that's not all we want. We have to make elected officials accountable.
Right.
And we have to make sure that they hold the criminals accountable.
There has to be a plan. There has to be a change.
Exactly. There has to be a plan, and I feel that in the last year and a half, it has not happened in San Francisco, and I feel that leadership needs to change.
You know, and I believe, because I think San Francisco has one of the more lax things about criminals.
Yeah.
It's very lax. I mean,
Why?
they don't go to
It's
the
a joke.
fullest. Yeah.
It's a joke. It's like, oh, I robbed somebody, I beat somebody, I took their money, I'm gonna walk around and do it again tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's a joke.
Yeah. Dude, I love the passion in your voice. I seen her on one of the rallies. She's screaming at the top of her lungs.
This is why she can't sleep.
Yeah, I think so.
Too much adrenaline going on. We're so pumped up, you know? Well, because, I mean, other than the fact that my mom was a victim, right?
Yeah.
By myself, I
3
was
times.
bullied, you know. I lived in Baby Hunters Point.
Yeah.
So, you
Oh,
know,
wow.
yeah, I grew up there.
Oh, my God.
So when I
Yeah, I
went to
know that
Mission
place.
High School,
Yeah.
I had to take the bus to from. Usually my dad would take us
Third
to
Street
school,
bus.
but after school, yeah, we'd have
15.
to. Yeah, exactly. So I used to go from Mission High School to Financial District on Kearney Street. My mom
Right.
used to work at the Holiday Inn there. It's now called the Hilton at
Right,
750
yes.
Kearney. We used to go there, go to the park and wait for her to get off work, and we'd take the bus home together because I didn't want her to go anywhere alone. And
Wow.
but you know, when we're on the bus, there's so many things happen. You know, I
Oh,
was
yeah.
one time I was by myself. I was bullied. There was like a whole gang of them. They were taking my hat, trying to pull my shirt, and the bus driver wouldn't do anything. So I ran to the front to tell the bus driver. I said, "Don't you see what's happening?" He's like, "I gotta focus on driving." And I was like,
Wow.
"Are you serious?" I said, "Let me out, let me out." I got out of the bus and I just ran home because it was just unbelievable. And maybe, you know, I should have filed a grievance with SFMTA for letting that happen to me, you know. But I didn't. I was just a teenager.
Yeah,
I didn't know any
yeah.
better, you know. And I didn't have anybody, a lawyer or anybody
Yeah,
who
to-
knows
nobody
anything
in
to
the back,
guide
yeah.
me.
I have
So-
a bit of insight on the bus driver though, because I drive a bus.
Yeah,
We can't be confrontational.
right.
And technically, even if we demand them or ask them to pay their fare and they don't have it, we don't have the right to kick them off.
Yeah, but what if somebody's, I mean, we're talking about hands, you know.
Right,
taking
right.
them-
But
My hand,
that's
pulling my
the
shirt.
culture that gets fed. That if I do something, if I get involved, if I change my
You might
job,
get fired.
Only
exactly.
because, and then also the rest of them, that he sees them on the next day, oh, there's that guy that did that to me.
They
So now
call
they
me
got
out, they
problems
kick me
from
on the
here on.
bus.
They can have a problem every
Same
day.
route.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So
it's tough.
sadly, it's something that trickles down because if people are going to be victimized in one way or another, and it's not taken care of properly, like you're saying,
Mm-hmm.
then it just gets passed on to somebody else.
Yeah.
Then the title of victim now is, oh, well, let's forget about her. Let's focus on this guy who got involved with what we were doing before.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's sadly the pattern that happens with a lot of situations like that. And then most people is the reason why they don't want to get involved. Why it's easier to see something through a screen because then it's something that's
yeah, it
happening with
separates
someone
them
else.
too. It separates them.
Then it's not
Yeah,
something
totally.
that's happening in front of us.
Yeah.
And that's the sad part is that we live a meek life because we're scared of the repercussions of doing something good.
Yeah.
Right.
Even in schools, if a kid's getting bullied and they stand up for themselves, they reprimand the child who stood up for themselves.
Yep.
I know.
And I hate that.
Yeah, it's
I
crazy.
hate that idea because I have 2 daughters and I tell them, look, avoid a situation, tell the teachers, but if it gets to the point where they're putting hands on you, you do whatever you have to do. I will never punish you
Right.
if you stood up for yourself.
Exactly.
Because the
actually
schools
happened-
will.
That actually happened to my older son when he was
Really?
in 9th grade. And this was when we lived in Sacramento. He was in 9th grade,
Mhm.
and I got a call from the principal's office, and I said, okay, all right. So I told my supervisor, I said, I need to take some time off work. I got to go tend to my child. I went to the school, and the vice principal says, oh, your son just punched somebody, and we had to, we have to stop him, and because he wouldn't stop punching him. And so, and we have to suspend him for a week. And I said, well, what happened? I said, can I hear what my son, can I just listen to
Yeah,
my son for
right.
a second and let him talk? And he told me what happened. He said that right in the middle of the schoolyard, some kids were bullying him, and one of them pulled his pants down in front of everybody. And I was like, you know what, Vice
yeah.
Principal, he had all the rights in the world to
To do-
punch that guy. I am
Right.
sorry. He is not going to get bullied.
That's
I'm not
sexual
going to raise.
assault at
Yeah,
that point.
exactly. I'm not going to let my child let somebody do that to him and for him not to fight back. And you know what? Good. Why don't you go ahead and suspend him for a week? Because I'm going to homeschool him and I'm going to teach him right.
Yeah.
I'm going to teach him right. What you guys are teaching him, what you want him to just be a victim and stand there?
Just take
Wow.
it.
Like-
What did the principal say?
She didn't say anything. She looked at me. She was like, well, we don't advocate violence. I said, you know what? Then you advocate it's okay to pull somebody's pant down?
Jeez.
Like, that's okay? No, that's not okay. I'm
No,
sorry. Like, you
that's
guys need
sexual
to...
assault.
Yeah.
You guys need to do something about this education system. Teach people what difference between right and wrong.
Right. Oh my God.
You know, so I think that's
crazy.
Yeah.
But that's what we're fed. That's
the society, the way it is right
society
now.
and the culture that we're fed over time. Just mind your business, stay in your lane,
Yeah.
and you'll be all right. And
Yeah.
that's not the case.
Yeah,
You're
and
never
we don't have
alright.
to take it. You know, just because we go to public schools to get a public education doesn't mean that we should be brainwashed to believe everything that we're taught. Like,
Yeah.
you know, we are humans. When we're outside of the school, there are things that we have to deal with. And then
Right.
when we're inside of school, there are things that we have to deal with.
And things we shouldn't have to deal with.
And things we shouldn't, but unfortunately,
But yet
it's
there
there.
they are.
It's there, so we
But
don't,
yet
we don't
there
have
they
no
are.
choice.
Yeah.
And when they give you no choice, you have to just stand up.
Yeah,
You
you
just
know,
have to stand up.
and like Naeem says, if I have a kid or my nieces and nephews, if they had to put their hand on somebody because of something that was prompted by that,
Mhm.
I'm all for it.
Yeah.
You know, I would never stop a kid from fighting back, especially if it's a day in, day out, they keep getting bullied.
Yeah.
You know what?
Yeah.
Let me teach you how to break somebody's arm because we're going to go that route.
Yeah.
You know, because they're not going to stop.
And if the bully doesn't get equal punishment, then I'm raising hell at that school.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
getting teachers fired, and I'm
Yeah,
going to
sue
go
the
straight
school.
to the district because it's not fair. If you're going to suspend my child for protecting themselves, then you better suspend the person that caused my child to have to protect themselves.
Yeah.
Because obviously, you as the school are not doing that job.
Exactly. Yeah. And actually, sorry, I want to get back real quick about the bus driver thing. So
Yeah.
I think there are too many people in positions where they're afraid to be fired, and I think that is actually really dangerous for society not to be able to stand up and like be fearful of repercussions. So actually, I was in a situation where I was being bullied at work.
Wow.
By my
Wow.
by my boss's boss. So this is like the superintendent,
Jeez.
and it wasn't the superintendent. It was my superintendent's husband that had a problem with me, and we were parked in the same parking lot, right? And I went to open my door. He was sitting in his car. He rolled down the window and he just yelled at me. He was like, "Hey, don't scratch my car!" And I was like, "I haven't even opened my door yet. Like, why are you yelling at me?"
Yeah.
So, and then from that moment, he got out and he started yelling at me like crazy, and I was like, who are you? Why are you yelling at me? I said, if you want to talk to my supervisor, you can come in. So I went back but he didn't follow me. He went upstairs to the superintendent, which is his wife. And then for the next few weeks, I got hell. She had the park rangers cite me for parking in employee parking lot, which I have right to do.
Yeah.
And then worse, the week after that, she had my supervisor, who had no backbones, fire me. And I was working for the city of San Francisco.
Wow.
But you know what? I in the beginning, I was really felt like I was wronged. I didn't really know how to approach it. I didn't really have money to seek an attorney for wrongful termination or anything like that. So I kind of just kind of took it, and I pray to God, and I said, you know what, I know something better is coming up for me. I'm applying for jobs, and then and because I just recently been fired, like nobody wants to hire me, right?
Of course.
So then so I started doing Lyft, right? No, actually it was called Sidecar before Lyft. So it was Sidecar. So I was doing
At the
Sidecar,
beginning.
and then later on I drove to a restaurant, right? And the owner goes, "Hey, I don't have any passengers, but I have food." But I said, "This is a passenger app." He goes, "I need you to take these deliveries to these places." So I was like, "Okay." He goes, "And I need you back in an hour to take the next set of deliveries." So I did exactly what he asked me to, and I completed my mission really quickly. Came back, and he really liked my work. And like within 2 weeks, he offered me partnership in the restaurant.
Partnership in the restaurant.
Yeah, he was like,
Hey, that was Grubhub before Grubhub.
yeah. He was like, "I've never seen a driver so, dedicated and so hardworking and so on time, and you call all the customers, great communications and all that stuff."
He's like, "I don't even work for you."
Yeah, he goes, "I want to offer you partnership." And I said, "Okay, all right, what does it entail and how much money are we talking about?" So, within 2 weeks, I'm partnering with a restaurant. I own a restaurant. And then, yeah. So what I'm trying to tell people is like don't be afraid of losing your job, because
Getting
you don't.
fired is the worst.
It was like the best thing that happened to me. Like I got fired from my job, and then now I'm owning a restaurant, and not only that, but after the first 6 months of the, getting to get the restaurant started and stuff, after the first 6 months, we were just running the business like clockwork. It was like a money
That's
machine,
crazy. Where's the restaurant at? We might as well plug into.
Oh, it's closed now.
Never mind.
And I'll tell you why. So we did so well that by the third year, I bought a house. Okay?
Wow.
Yeah, I bought a house in the Bay Area, and my partner bought 3 houses in
Yeah,
3
you're
years.
doing really good then.
So, and then he did better than me, and I did all the work because he was working remotely most of the time.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
funny.
So and then
From his 3 houses.
yeah. So and then within 3.5 years, I actually paid off the house.
Wow.
So
That's
I was
amazing.
like, you know what? And I was like, now I really want to do what I'm passionate about. Let me just. And our lease was up anyways.
Right.
Our lease was up, and the landlord said, well, if you want to renew the lease, you're gonna have to pay twice as much because the real estate's up and blah
Yeah.
blah blah. Right? This is 2018 before COVID, so it
Right.
was like getting higher.
Oh
and
yeah,
higher.
yeah, yeah.
So I was like, oh no, it's okay. I was like, here's the keys. You know, I'm gonna go and go do my thing, do what I want to do.
What are you doing now?
So right now, well, at the same year, in the beginning of that same year, before I closed the restaurant, a gentleman came to my restaurant and showed me this product called Glim. So it's a cleaning product. It's an organic cleaning product. In fact, you should clean the whole gym with it.
Gleam.
All right,
Yeah,
we'll
so-
talk to the owner.
Yeah.
So, well, I am the owner. I'm the
No,
manufacturer.
No, the owner of the gym.
We'll sell your products.
Oh, definitely. I won't even do a free demonstration for you.
Okay, there you go. We'll let it know.
So I started that in January, and it just kept building and building and building. I said, you know what? I like doing this water more because I don't have to depend on a cook, a driver, a janitor, or dishwasher. Like
I can be my best employee.
yeah, exactly.
I get employee of the month every month.
Exactly. I'm like, hey, I can really do this. Like, you know, I could generate as much as I need and reach out to as many customers as I want. So I just felt like, you know, it gave me a lot of freedom to do what I want too. So,
Wow.
yeah, so that really worked out for me. So I think that people who are fearful of losing their job, like, I understand it if that's the only thing that you feel you can do. But I really think that if we expand our minds and just be open-minded to different things that come our way, doors will open for us, you know. When one door closes, I really believe another one will open for us. So, like, don't be afraid to stand up and do what's right, you know.
And as much as I love that message and I completely agree with you, the other part of that and part of your success is you.
Oh, definitely.
Your character, the content that you carry
Yeah,
with
the way
you.
you're motivated. I mean, your self-motivation is incredible. I mean, just sitting here, I get goosebumps.
A lot of people
just
I'm
listening.
getting
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, man, this thing is awesome.
A lot of people don't
It's
have
a
that.
rarity, you know, and especially being at your age, and like you said, most Asians are very, you know, quiet. And they don't want to make noise. But here you are, top of your lungs, screaming and yelling that, hey, this is wrong. Let's fix it
Yes.
and go. You know, and I love that as a matter of fact attitude. Like, no, this is, you know, and I was just, like I said, when I watch her videos, I'm just like so amazed. She's walking around Chinatown with a camera like this.
I saw some of them. Yeah.
I was like, that's amazing. And then to hear your story, it's just equally, I was like, wow, I'm blown away. I'm just really proud of what you're doing for yourself and for your community.
Yes.
You know, we wanted, where were we on time there, young man?
We're still pretty good. I think we're only about half an hour in, a little over, maybe
Good.
40 minutes.
We're going to keep going then, if you have time. But I love the idea that you took it upon yourself to just get up and go. Because I know, you know,
Well, after she got fired.
yeah, well, not even just that, but for what you're doing now for the community.
Yeah.
I don't think people realize how tough it is to be in your position right now.
It
You
really
know,
is hard.
You have this giant target because you're the face of this protest thing that's going on.
And now these faces next to her.
And we're going to be right here beside her too. We're going to walk the town with you from time to time. We're going to call you.
Awesome.
But it's just amazing. And again, people don't realize how tough it is to stand up. You know, you're like David and Goliath, right? There's this giant thing, and you're like, I don't care. Let's go. I love that.
Like she said before, it's not just the individuals. It's the system that cultivates the individuals and allows the individuals to keep doing these things.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You have this big giant thing in front of you, and you're like, I'm ready to knock you down. Let's go. That's amazing. I'm blown away by that. I mean,
We'll get you a slingshot.
yeah, look at this.
And we were
If
joking
you don't know
about
the
it
reference.
other day.
Read the Bible.
Yeah, exactly.
What's next for you in all of this
Oh,
stuff?
Oh, I
There's a lot
wanted
more,
to
sure.
kind of finish about what we do. So,
Oh, right, that's where we were.
primarily what we do is, so we are not like the guardian angels. We don't get into altercations.
Good.
Like, you know, I mean, if we have to defend ourselves, we will, but we don't like generally
Advocate
go into,
that,
yeah,
yeah.
we don't advocate that. So, you know, we encourage de-escalation if there is a problem, but most of the time what we do is called ORR, observe, record, and report. So if you see something, you feel something's wrong, your gut is telling you something is wrong, that person is looking to everybody's store and looking at everybody's car, looks like they want to break the window and steal something, your gut feeling is probably right. You have to trust yourself.
Definitely.
And when you see somebody snooping around like that, break out your phone, start recording, and if they actually commit a crime, get off the phone, call 911. Hello, officer. My location is, Jackson and Grand Avenue. You know, I just saw somebody broke a car. And this is what he looks like. I have video of him. You know, that type of stuff. And generally, you know, they send somebody out pretty quickly.
Especially now, right
Yeah.
now, they're doing that.
Yeah. So there's increased foot patrols in San Francisco.
Yeah.
So officers come pretty quickly. I think the last time we called somebody out for a disturbance or trouble, they came within 3 minutes. It was
Wow.
very quick. Yeah,
That's
very quick.
fast for a police department.
Yeah,
Sorry, you
I
guys,
remember a few years ago, my car window got broken into. This
Well,
is
it
many years
wasn't
ago.
for a car window.
Okay,
It
okay.
was for more of a, you know,
Oh, something more
yeah,
immediate.
something more immediate.
I
Yeah.
appreciate. All right.
Yeah. So I'll just share one story with you.
Uh-huh.
Last August, when I was patrolling with 3 other members, the 4 of us were doing graffiti removal, and we were in those white, like hazmat suits doing painting.
Those painter costumes.
Yeah, the painted costumes. A man just came up to me. We were in Grant and Sacramento. A man just came up to me and started calling me Chinese virus and go back to the effing whatever, you know, like just spewing all kinds of profanities at me. And I was actually shocked. I was like I don't even know this guy, you know.
Right.
But then luckily, our members were there and they yelled at the, hey, stay away from her. So he was kind of shocked when he heard that, and he started running. Which one of our members, he's a martial arts instructor.
I like
So
it.
he goes, let's chase after him. So yeah, chased after him, and I was running with my phone the whole time, you know, running, and
I'm
then,
gonna have to look that up. I want to see.
oh yeah, I'll click on share with you.
I don't know if I agree with that quite as much.
So we ran about a couple of blocks, but I got enough pictures and videos, so I hung up my phone. I called the police. I told them our location. I said, somebody just said this to me, and you know, but with these something is,
Felt
you know,
threatened.
yeah, we felt threatened, and I think something must be, you know, it doesn't feel right. So we're behind him right now. We want an officer to come and help and see if there's any problems, right? So and by about the 3rd block, our members go, stop, sit down. He actually obeyed the command.
Nice.
He complied. He
It wouldn't
stopped,
have been the first
he
time.
sat down. Yeah, so he's heard
He
it
knew.
before.
He knew what was gonna.
Yeah, so and then like less than 2 minutes later, the sirens go, and the police came and they got out of the car. They questioned me. They questioned him. You know, and then
Okay, now I get why you guys were following him. Because at
Yeah.
first you said the martial arts guy, we should follow him. I'm like, it's not gonna end well.
so later on, after the officers interviewed all of us, he goes, well, you know, did he hit you? No, he didn't. But did he do anything physical to you? No. he
Now they're
didn't.
trying to turn
So-
it around.
So they said, well, it's not a crime. He can, you know, people can say what they want, you know, but
Wow.
and if they actually, you know, hurt you, then
Freedom
it's
of
a
speech.
crime. Yeah. So then I said, okay, that's fine then. I said, but I'm gonna wait around so you guys do some checks. So he went and he got his ID. He checked. He called it into the station. And, you know, checked his ID number. Blah 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 blah. And then they checked him. And then they pulled his pants up and they found he had an ankle bracelet. It was a deactivated ankle bracelet.